This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John Donalo. Now, don't get confused. Well, actually, we don't have to worry about people getting confused because we're not going live, we're recording. So nobody has to know that it's Thursday instead of Tuesday. So, but anyways, it is Thursday this week, and we are doing our podcast. And we want to remind all of you that are listening to us, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, go back to YouTube and subscribe to this channel because we really appreciate you. And today's podcast is being sponsored by CassandraKubinski. Go to the show notes, learn all about her and her newest single called Both Sides Now, which is a Joni Mitchell song, and it is phenomenal. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Paul Seaburn because, hey, it's time for What in the World?
What in the world? Everybody's favorite weird news show, real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. Yes, it is me, Paul Seaburn, your host. Thank you, Cassandra. Before I forget, just to mention that again, we were talking before the show. I had just finished listening to her recording, one of her recordings of Both Sides Now. Just phenomenal. You know, I can't wait to dig into YouTube and listen to some more of her recording. She's on Bandcamp. She's on all the good stuff. You know, you can find her. CassandraKubinski is her name. And thank you again for sponsoring us, Cassandra. Let's get right to the voices in your head. Oh, I'm sorry, in your ears. The voices are only in my head. The first one was Karen Hale, our producer, co-host, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net. Also our sponsor through Yes I Can Coaching with Karen. So you go to newclevelandradio.net. You find out all about the great podcast that Karen has, all the places that you can listen to them on. Then go to Yes I Can Coaching for all your coaching needs. And hang out there for a while. Karen's full of useful advice. Follow her on Facebook. She's got a Substack. You can do all that great stuff through newclevelandradio.net. The other voice in your ear is my old buddy John Donalo, co-host and host of What in the World of Sports with John Donalo. He is dressed in Cavaliers shirt today because the Cavs are playing and winning, and that's all
Yeah,
I'm
they
getting.
had a nice win yesterday. Paul, Karen, and audience, and Donovan Mitchell scored 46 points. So things are going
Wow.
in the right direction.
Phenomenal. Yeah, almost makes people forget that LeBron guy. So I hope we shall see. All right. Well, so thank you to everybody tuning in, whether you're listening whether you're watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, as Karen mentioned. That gets us all kind of useful information on our base. So we like to do that. I'm on Facebook. I also have a web page, paulseaburn.com. You can get all the information about me there. Also links to my new book, What Would You Say to a Naked Space Alien? Well, which we will be talking about on the show, by the way. Let's see what we got here. What am I talking about today? Thursday. Like anybody cares. You know, they're just listening. However, I will mention that we normally record on Tuesdays for those of you who like to listen live. So, and there are a few people out there who like to listen live. In fact, one of them is Linda down in Houston, and I want to send a special hello and get well to Linda, who has been having some health issues. She's apparently doing better now, but all of our, we care about all of our listeners, and especially Linda, because she's an old friend of mine and my lovely wife, and her husband as well. So who's taking good care of her as far as I know. Okay, what are we going to talk about today? We always like to talk about food. I've got a new sandwich, a sweet new sandwich from Japan, and a disgusting restaurant from the same people. That would be people in Japan. Adult beverages that appeal to bears, but not to nearsighted humans. You'll want to find out what that means. Listen in. A princess that even desperate frogs won't kiss. Well, interesting story there. Computers for mushroom lovers, and smartphones for smartphone haters. So it kind of a little technical link there. Plus, we've got some more odd news. We've got world records. We've got trivia. John's got another great sport for us. So let's get right to it with our first story. You know, we love food stories. Let me get our logo up here. There we go. No, there we don't go. There we go. There we go. There we don't go. There's our show name and our motto. Let's see. There's my book. What would you say to a naked space alien? Go to Amazon.com, look up my name, you'll find that, and some other books I wrote too. But that's the one you want right now. Okay, so we love food stories on What in the World. Regular listeners know that my favorite weird food comes from Japan. So obviously, that's where this one comes from. So first, I want to ask everybody out there listening, and also John and Karen, what's your favorite sandwich? John, we'll start with you.
I'm going to have to say a Reuben sandwich.
Reuben,
A corned beef
yes, and
Reuben
I bet.
sandwich.
Oh, and I
Yes.
know where you get Reubens too. Really good, foot tall Reuben sandwiches. So, okay, Reuben, good one. Karen, how about you?
I'm going to say a BLT.
BLT. There's one I haven't had in a long time. On what kind of bread? You do the traditional white bread
No, I like it on wheat.
on wheat. Okay,
Oh,
toasted, not toasted.
Yeah, toasted on wheat.
Toasted. Okay, all right. So my favorite is peanut butter and jelly. I'll eat it on any kind of bread. I like chunky peanut butter, but my second choice is Braunschweiger, a slice of onion, and mustard on dark rye bread. This is a sandwich my dad used to eat. John, you probably had that sandwich in your family as well.
well, you know what though? But I don't think I was really a big fan of it, to be honest with you.
No. Well,
Yeah.
I was a big fan of it. The people who lived with me were not, for an obvious reason, because that stuff reacts on you very quickly. So you just don't be around people for a few days if you like that kind of sandwich. But this sandwich from Japan is unbelievable. It's a hot new offering. It comes from a bakery in Japan, and it is a cake sandwich. A cake sandwich that two slices of baked white bread with a slice of sponge cake in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, I in the United States, if you eat something like this is what you call the kind of thing that you eat on the day after your 21st birthday when you stayed up all night getting
Yeah.
drunk. You didn't think about what you were going to eat for breakfast. So you eat a cake sandwich. Um, it's does it appeal to you, John?
No, in fact, I'm trying to figure it out. So it's white bread and cake is in the middle?
Cake in the middle. That's right. It's and cream in there too. We'll talk about the cream in a second. I have eaten cake as a meal before. And it usually at a state fair, and it was deep fried on a stick. But still, it was a big piece of cake that was worthy of being a meal. This
Sure.
cake sandwich in Japan is so popular. McDonald's is working on their own competitive variation called the quarter pound cake with cheese. Quarter pound cheese. There you go. You eat enough of these in Japan, and even that guy, what's his name, Shohei Ohtani,
Otani.
Yeah.
he'd have to quit pitching and go into sumo wrestling, which if he would be a star in as well. But
Wow.
so there's I think I have another picture of it here for yeah. So here's another angle of it. It's more like a fast food restaurant bun rather than a quality bakery bun, but it looks really bad in the package. This is how it comes. They package it and they sell it at convenience stores as well as at the bakery. So now it's kind of smushed down. Doesn't look very appealing at all. And then there's layers of cream. That's what I wanted to mention. So on the top and the bottom of the cake, in between the cake and the bread, are layers of cream, which, I guess if you want a condiment of some sort on your cake sandwich, that would be a good one. Better than mustard, right, Karen? Would you put
Yeah,
mustard?
much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, so the cake itself, what kind of cake is it?
Oh, it's pound cake. It's
It's
pound cake.
pound cake. I'm
Kind of
sorry. Yeah,
famous
you had
pound
mentioned it
cake.
before.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got it.
They
Okay.
brag about how good the cake is. Well, then just eat the cake. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
need the bread, right? What are you having the bread for? Yeah.
If you don't want to get crumbs all over you, then take the bag, put it in the bag. You don't need the bread.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
so the reason why it's so popular is it only costs $2.30. So $2.30 for a cake sandwich. The bad news is you have to buy 12 of them. They only come 12 to a package. They don't sell them individually. So
Really?
yeah, they're like the White Castle sliders of cake sandwiches.
Wow.
When you're really hungover, that's what you go for at the convenience stores. Is the bag of 12 cake sandwiches. Um, I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me at all. However, maybe if you add a beverage to it, it might be more appealing. So, what beverage would you eat or would you drink with a cake sandwich, you may ask?
Yeah, what?
Yeah. What? We both want to
No,
know, and
no
so does the
idea.
audience.
If you're at a convenience store, I was trying to think, get some milk or a Yoo-Hoo soda. Yoo-Hoo chocolate soda was one of my go-to favorites. I don't know if they sell it anymore. That would go with cake and a sandwich. But here's the best one. This comes from Carlsberg, which is a beer brewing company. The Danish beer brewing company, Carlsberg, has announced the world's smallest bottle of beer. There's a picture of
Oh
it
my God.
balanced on a fingertip of a human being, the size of a pin, not much bigger than the size of a pin, like the head of a pencil, maybe. Um, it has a tiny, it's a half an inch tall, has a tiny bottle cap to protect a single drop of beer, which is, yeah, yeah, carefully placed in the bottle somehow. Customers say that this little tiny bottle of Carlsberg is still more satisfying than an entire bottle of Keystone Light. Which I think Keystone Light, sorry, Keystone Light lovers. Um, they say that if you hold that tiny bottle to your ear when you pop open the cap, it sounds like an ant farting. So, that little, little
Whatever that
whoosh of
sounds
air.
like.
Yeah.
Whatever that sounds
Not,
like, right?
have you ever heard an ant fart, John?
No,
No.
I'm going to say I have
No, it never
not.
got that close.
Yeah.
So, so
Wow.
Carlsberg calls this a work of art, which I call it a work of desperation by a brewmeister who is probably trying to quit drinking. So, but slowly. So he does it by reducing the size of the bottles. So get a 12 pack to go with your 12 pack of cake sandwiches. That doesn't sound like a bad deal. The bottle itself was made by Glass Component is the name of the company, a Swedish company specializes in glass blowing for laboratory equipment. So that kind of makes sense based on the size. A miniature artist from Sweden uses these tiny little bottles to make pieces for doll houses. With all the authentic stuff on it too. So this is perfect for your daughter's Barbie dream house. If you
Yeah.
want her to learn how, what happens when Barbie has too many beers and loses the Corvette.
Oh boy.
Can't find her way home, walking home with only one high heel on. You know how that goes. The sorry, I don't even want, I'm not going to go any further with that. I was going to, but I don't want to depress anybody who's a fan of Barbie. So remember the show Candid Camera. We're going to show our age on this one. Karen and John, I bet you both remember Candid
Yep.
Camera.
Oh, absolutely. Alan Funt.
Alan
Yes.
Funt, that's right. Did you know that we'll take a trivia break here? Alan Funt created the idea on the radio, and it was originally called the Candid Microphone, not Candid Camera. In 1947, he came up with the idea. And just as he started doing it on the radio, basically the same thing, he'd hide a microphone someplace. Television appeared. And everybody said, oh, this would be the perfect thing to do on television, but you'd need a camera. And said, oh, what a great name idea for a name. Candid Camera. That's what we'll call it. What was the catchphrase, John? Do you remember the catchphrase?
Oh, no, I don't offhand, Paul. Sorry.
Hey, look at me, John.
Smile, you're on
Oh,
Candid
smile.
Camera.
There you go, Karen.
Karen's got it.
Karen
Karen's
gets
got
the
it. Very good,
prize.
Karen.
That's right.
Right,
You get a
right.
little bottle of beer, Karen.
Okay, thank you.
So, so today, it wouldn't. It's no longer on the air because you can't go anywhere without being on a security camera. So we're on candid camera all the time. And if there's not a security camera, there's somebody holding a phone, a cell phone, taking your picture or a video of you. Um, so why do I mention that? Is that it's not fun anymore. That was my point. Unless you're a bear, that was a long way to go to make that segue. Unless you're a bear, so security cameras. This is another half booze story. Security cameras at the Bozeman Spirits Distillery in downtown Bozeman, Montana, recorded a bear. Oh, there's another picture of the Carlsberg beer. There we go. Recorded a bear walking on the distillery's patio where everybody goes out to eat lunch. Fortunately, they hadn't opened yet. So here's a bear walking through the patio where they have to serve lunches. They said it must have been looking for the company's famous Huckleberry vodka. That's what they're known for. Yeah, Huckleberry vodka. It didn't find any, so it left empty pawed. And we still don't know if a bear sips in the woods. Excuse me. I'll give that one a horn. Yeah. However, now we know what drink goes best with salmon because if he's looking for Huckleberry vodka, that has to be it. I was a big fan of Yogi Bear. We never saw Yogi or Boo Boo drinking, but that could be why Boo Boo was called Boo Boo.
Oh,
Now,
yeah, maybe. Sure.
have you ever heard of Huckleberry vodka?
Never.
I'm going to say no. I have not.
No, I haven't either. It's supposedly the distillery says it tastes just like eating the berries straight off a bush, of course, and then passing out. It would be the same thing. But Huckleberry vodka apparently tastes. They said it has a sweet and tart it tastes like a sweet and tart berry, often compared to a mix of blueberry, raspberry, and cranberry. It's fruity and aromatic with a note of ripe berry, sometimes with a jam-like undertone. Okay, I'm not even sure.
You think that's a reach, Paul, huh?
Right. So here's a bit of personal trivia. In 1970, Alan Funt, nice old, happy-go-lucky, candid camera Alan Funt, wrote, narrated, directed, and produced an X-rated version of Candid Camera. And the name of the movie was What Would You Say to a Naked Lady? Now, if you were paying attention, that's almost the name of my book. What would you say to a naked lady?
Yeah.
Which is where I got that idea. So thank you, Alan Funt, wherever you are. Okay, this is from our Kids Don't Try This at Home file, which is huge. The way this show goes. So there's a bridge in China, the Hongjiang Grand Canyon Bridge. This is over their version of the Grand Canyon, the world's highest bridge, 2,051 feet above the river in the canyon, the Beipan River. And now it's the most controversial bridge in the world because they began tests for using, get ready for this, ropeless bungee jumping.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Which, Karen, if you look that up in the dictionary, I believe it's called falling.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're calling it
Wow.
ropeless. You jump off the edge of the bridge into a giant net, which is placed hopefully below where you're jumping. They said it's between 100 and 200. They were testing it. They were dropping 100 and 200 pound sandbags into the net to make sure the net didn't break and the sandbags didn't miss it. Besides being super strong, I think they ought to coat it with a layer of Depends because they have a feeling that
Might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
So participants can choose the height that they want to jump. Free. I mean, it's free falling. It's free falling. The jump height between 20 and 50 meters. So that's like 150 feet, uh, which is they calculated this to just seconds less than the time it takes for them to barf.
Oh my.
So that way,
No,
that
man.
way they don't have a barf all over the net. Um, I mean,
Why would anyone want to take that risk?
exactly, exactly. I have no answer for that, Karen. This is not even like mountain climbing. This is,
Well,
you know,
let me ask you this, Paul. So would a person have to sign a disclaimer of some type? And who would you
no,
sign the
this is
disclaimer
China.
to?
They don't care. This is thinning the herd. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, right. Okay, yeah. I guess that's the way of looking at it, right? Wow.
however, I have a good friend who's a psychic, and I told her this story, and she did a check, and she came back to me and she said, I talked to Tom Petty in the afterlife. He said, this is not what I meant by free falling. So
Oh, very good. Very
Very
good.
good. Very good.
wasn't that a good song, by the way? We were talking about music before.
No,
Great song.
very good. Yeah.
Free Falling, that was on his first solo album after he left the Heartbreakers. But then he went back and recorded with them too.
Hmm.
John, I don't know if you remember this. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers played the halftime show for one of the Super Bowls.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
2008 was
Okay.
he was the
Right.
halftime show, Super Bowl 42. That song is ranked number 219 on Rolling Stone's top 500 rock songs of all time. I mentioned that because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is in Cleveland, Ohio. Uh,
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a good one though, for
so
sure.
so they have getting back to this crazy story. They have cameras conveniently placed so you can get a video of it for your friends, I guess, while you're crapping on the way down. Um, they said that the corners are fixed so that it absorbs the impact of the fall, but just in case, it will slowly collapse to the bottom of the canyon to ensure
Oh,
the safety of the people. Yeah.
oh
No,
wow.
do you believe that? Nobody believes that.
I don't. I know neither one of you probably watched last week's Ohio State game, but Brutus did bungee cord off the top of the stadium.
Oh my
Really?
gosh, really? Wow.
I
Yeah,
did not see. I did
I did
watch
not
part
see
of
it.
that
No.
game, but I did not see that.
yeah. So, I guess bungee jumping and free falling are the in thing to do.
A thing with the kids, as they say. Yes. A Generation Z, as in 0 cents. Sorry about that for all of our listeners who are Generation Z. I apologize. Please watch us on YouTube and subscribe.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, John, another sport for you, sport related story. If you think that the Japanese cake sandwich was strange, wait till you hear this. New restaurant in Japan, very popular. It's called the Sumo Live Restaurant. It offers a 2 hour, I'm quoting, sensory adventure that combines. Oh, there's another. I didn't even want to look at any more pictures of that scary thing. This restaurant
Oh,
combines sumo wrestling and fine Japanese cuisine. The sumo wrestlers also wait on tables in between matches. So a better name might be Brooders or maybe Man Hooters. I'm not sure, but
oh.
they also the cheapest dinner that this place and it's like the samurai place. The sumo ring is in the middle, and everybody sits around the ring and eats while they watch sumo wrestlers wrestle.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Cheapest
That's
meal is $120, which is a lot of money, especially when you think that you could go to Waffle House and buy a cup of coffee and some waffles and watch fighting all night long.
Oh,
I
with the
told
other
Yeah,
patrons in there,
yeah,
right?
for a couple of bucks. The chef, by the way, is also a sumo wrestler. So he likes to come out and he gets up in the ring and he yells, "Can you smell what the blob is cooking?" Uh,
Oh my gosh. Wow.
so I put this on Facebook. Not a single person who commented on it liked the idea. Um, I said it's kind of like the Samurai Steakhouse, except you don't want to know how they fling the pieces of chopped up shrimp at you. I'll give you a hint. They stick it in their navel as they're swinging themselves around.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
Yeah. I
no.
don't I don't want to eat. I don't want to watch anything with where there's sumo wrestlers in the middle.
No, me neither.
I
No.
just
Yeah, I'm with you.
yeah. And they also work at the souvenir stand. That's a picture of the guys working at the souvenir stand. And they'll even pose for pictures, and they'll also apologize if they happen to fall and sit in your dinner.
Oh, wow.
I
Oh,
know it's unbelievable. Unbelievable what people do. Okay. We love world records on What in the World. And this woman is my new favorite world record holder. She owns at least four that we're going to talk about. Her name is Daniela DeVille. Great name. Great name for a world record holder. Great name for a stripper as well, I think. But she's not that I would know about that. Um, a circus performer. She's a circus performer, and she goes by the nickname the Princess of Pain. Now, why does she call herself the Princess of Pain? She recently set four Guinness World Records. Number one, for the tiniest frying pan rolled with her bare hand. I think I have a picture of her doing it there. There she is. That was originally a full frying pan that she slowly rolled with her bare hand um, into the tightest roll that's seven inches in diameter. So from a full frying pan down to 7 inches in diameter. Most flours sliced overhead with a whip in 30 seconds. I think I have a picture. There she is cracking a whip. I don't want to get anywhere near her cracking a whip.
yeah.
Wow.
In 30 seconds, she sliced 19 flours in 30 seconds with her whip. Fastest escape from a straitjacket while suspended, 7 seconds. And my favorite, most nails inserted into her nose with a hammer in 1 minute.
Ow.
Hopefully,
Oh.
hopefully there's, oh man.
Yeah,
No,
there she's in the straitjacket. Here
straight
she is
jacket.
hammering nails up her nose. In 1 minute, she hammered 15 big 4-inch nails into her nose with a hammer. I'm only going to torture you with a picture of one, but there are pictures available of her with 15 nails in her nose. Now, I think she pulls them out and then she does it again. After watching her nail hammer 15 nails up her nose, three of the Guinness judges quit doing cocaine. They said, that's it.
Yeah, those are records. I don't think those are records that the vast majority of people do not want to have.
Exactly. Yeah. But the Guinness people don't care. You know, they thought it was great. Princess of Pain, by the way, is the perfect name for whoever dates Prince Andrew next.
Oh yeah, there you are.
Oh.
No longer a
Although he's
prince.
stripped
Yeah,
of the
that's all we'll
title,
say
though.
about that.
He's stripped of the title. He's no longer the prince.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
So
conundrum.
I'm telling you, the frying pan one scared me too, you know, because I mean, I use frying pans all the time. I do the cooking. I drop my frying pan on my foot, you know, that's a solid piece of metal.
Yeah, it is.
I
Oh,
don't know
sure,
how she,
sure.
yeah, I don't know how she does it. Um, so the nails up the nose, John, reminded me of some stunts that a few of our fraternity brothers used to pull when we were in college. I
Okay.
remember those stunts, and you remember that the guys who did it.
Yeah, you're right. They come to mind very, very readily, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, yeah. Tom in particular. Tom. He liked to eat glass, Karen. He liked to eat glass, and he liked to eat lit cigarettes. And tried to make us do, you know, us guys trying to get into the fraternity do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The scariest thing, though, John, I don't know if you remember this. I thought the scariest thing was when those guys graduated and they went into the army. I thought, boy,
Oh yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
yeah, when the North
they had military
Vietnamese hear
commitments,
that these
right?
guys who eat glass are coming, they're going to surrender immediately, which they didn't do. But
Oh
so,
my gosh.
speaking of college, um, do you like peanut brittle? Are you a fan of peanut brittle? Karen, how about you? I'll ask you first.
Well, I used to, but not anymore.
No, teeth. They're bad for your teeth. John,
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan. And actually, Annette at Christmas time has made batches and batches of peanut brittle.
Aha! Well, you're right up my alley here. So when I was in college, my youngest sister, I lived in the dorm, and my youngest sister used to make peanut brittle at home, like Annette does. And I would always bring a big, huge box back to the dorm, and everybody ate it. We were eating it as soon as we got it. That was back when we had good, solid teeth. Uh, so the it it turns out that peanuts are not the only nut that you can use to make brittle. That's the only nut to make peanut brittle, obviously. But this leads us to another world record. But this one comes from the Philippines. And there's a nut that's native to the Philippines, which is called the pili nut. P-I-L-L-I, I think. P-I-L-I. They have a festival in the Philippines where they make they salute this pili nut, and they recently set a Guinness World Record for the largest pili nut brittle when they cooked. Get ready, 3,465 pounds of nuts. That's not just the sugar and whatever else they put in. Over 3,000 pounds, a ton and a half, over a ton, almost 2 tons of nuts, and put it in a 1,551-foot pan, which covered half of a tennis court. That's how big it is. Half of
Wow.
a tennis court. And then once they got the record verified, they broke it into little pieces and they gave it to everybody there. So they got, according to the media report, 4 out of 5 dentists surveyed thanked them for the extra business after. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. Uh,
You would think that this would be a popular thing, but there was actually a group protesting outside because they were pickleball players, and they said that you should have done it on a pickleball court to be current rather.
no, they want
Uh,
equal time. They want
Yeah,
equal
you know how
time,
those
right?
pickleball players are. Uh,
Hmm.
the nuts had to be cracked first, so they also set a second record for the most number of people cursing Tchaikovsky. Now that's when you have to think about it.
Yeah, right.
So they brought in peely nut brittle cooks. Believe it or not, they have peely nut brittle cooks from around the country. Like they even called my sister. They were running out of people, and they called my sister, but she said she retired after we graduated. I I don't know if you remember this, John. I dedicated my degree when I graduated to my sister and her peanut brittle, which really disappointed our Stroh's beer distributor because he thought I should have dedicated it to him.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that one, Paul.
Okay, so regular listeners of the show know that after I graduated, I went into the computer business for 20 years. I never saw a computer like the one I'm about to talk about here. So scientists at the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio, discovered that shiitake mushrooms can be grown and trained to act as an organic computer memory. I kid you not. They made computer memory out of shiitake mushrooms, which makes them a low-cost, environmentally friendly alternative to silicone computer chips. You know that IBM sticker that's on your computer? If you buy, yeah, on this one it said IBM stands for "It Be Mushrooms."
Wow. Wow. Never
Yeah,
knew this, Paul. Never knew this. Never
isn't
knew
that
this
wild? For the
existed.
first
Wow.
time in history, when the memory of your computer is fried, it's not a bad thing. You still got something to eat while you
Got
wait
it.
for
Wow.
the Geek Squad to show up.
It's a side benefit.
So they use mushrooms because they do well in the same environment as coders, which is dark, damp, and feed them garbage. You know, we used to make batteries out of potatoes back when I was a kid. There was a way, I don't remember exactly how to do it, but you could make batteries out of potatoes until we learned how to cook them, and then that was the end of that. And we discovered Radio Shack, so
Yeah.
and they they use shiitake mushrooms. I thought some people, I put this on Facebook, and some people said they should have used magic mushrooms, but those were the mushrooms that they saved to keep the programmers motivated.
Got it. Yep.
Makes sense.
Actually, I actually contacted a sales rep I worked with in Houston back in the 80s, and I asked if she could sell one of these. And she said, of course, as long as I came and did the presentation for her, because that's what I did. Thank you, Linda, for that. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so back when we needed these huge rooms, speaking of computers, back in the old days, you needed, for one computer, you would need rooms the size of tennis courts, to bring back another reference, with huge air conditioners underneath, just to cool that one giant computer to make calculations that we do on our phones now. So today, that much computing power we hold in our hands. And because we have so much computing power in our hands, there's now a thing called smartphone addiction. Have you heard of that? Smartphone addiction?
I have not.
Yeah, people can't stop using, scrolling, swiping, whatever all you do on your smartphone. So psychologists are up in arms. They don't know what to do. People are, they're coming, they're saying, my kid's addicted to their smartphone, and they don't know how to stop them from using their smartphone. So this company in where are they at? I don't know where they're at. The name of it is Master Neuroscience, by the way. So they've come up with a very low-tech solution to smartphone addiction. And this is it. They made a holder that weighs 6 pounds. This is a giant smartphone holder made out of steel, hardened steel, that holds your folder, holds your phone. It's giant, it's clunky, it's 6 pounds. It makes using a smartphone so exhausting, you won't get addicted. That's their claim.
So it's obviously a big deterrent to using the phone.
Well, you can't put it in your pocket, obviously, because it's way too big to put in your pocket. But yeah, 6 pounds. It's so heavy that people doing those funny LOL texts, they got so tired they quit after the L. So they know they know that it's working. Arnold Schwarzenegger heard about this, and as soon as he heard it, that they said he told his wife, "I'll be back," and he ran out of 2. Yeah, 1 for each arm, to do curls. What did they say? I forget what they do it. We'll pump you up. Yeah, pump you up. That's what he did. People who used to send naked pictures from their cell phones, now they can't even lift it up. They send naked pictures of their feet. That's the most they can do.
Oh, wow.
So, if you think about it, this is actually a good idea, not just for smartphone addiction, but it's great for protecting your phone when you drop it. A stainless steel, 6 pounds of stainless steel, your phone is not going to, your screen is not going to crack when you drop something like that. Except now you got to start buying steel-toed boots, because
yeah, right.
You drop your phone on your toes, and it weighs 6 pounds. So that's going to be my new job. I'm going to sell steel-toed boots to the people that buy these things. That'll be my retirement side.
There's a market for everything, Paul.
That's right, John. I may need you if I'm doing that well. I could franchise. I could hire you as a franchise.
Okay.
Maybe not. Okay. All right. So now we got a Halloween story. Halloween was this weekend. We had a lot of kids come by for Halloween. I think we had 50. Plus, this has become an annual event in my neighborhood. We had a headless horseman on an actual live horse ride down the street, covered with like Christmas lights, so you could see him in the dark. We don't know who it is. Rumor has it, I wish I had a picture of it. I'd show you. Rumor has it that it's a woman, and she's dressed in one of those costumes where you don't see her head. So obviously she can. I don't think she trusts the horse to know where it's going, unless
That's pretty interesting. Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is the second year that I can remember that happening, and the kids were just running down the street when they saw the horse. So anyway, so this is a Halloween story. It's to do with what the headless horseman lost. What did you remember the story, John? What did the headless horseman wear instead of his head?
Didn't
You
he
know,
have
I know this, but I can't recall it. Sorry.
wasn't it a pumpkin head?
A pumpkin head. That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the famous picture of a pumpkin head man on a horse. Uh, so sounds like a fraternity prank. The so this guy, his name is Alan Giebert. He owned a 1991 Geo Metro. Now, it's amazing that a 1991 Geo Metro was still running in 2025 and that it had one owner, this guy. Well, he said that it finally died on him and there was nothing he could do to bring it back to life. So he decided, he lives in Millville, Utah, by the way. He decided to give it a proper send off. So what did he do? He dropped a giant pumpkin on it and
Oh,
smashed
wow.
both the car and the pumpkin to smithereens. Now, this was not just any giant pumpkin. He bought it from the guy who won the biggest pumpkin in Utah contest, which was held the day before. So he crushed his Geo Metro with the largest pumpkin in Utah. Uh, he dropped the pumpkin there. Can't see the crane. He lifted the pumpkin. He had to rent a crane and lifted it 14 stories before dropping it onto the car and smashing it to bits. This reminded me, my neighbor back in Houston had a Yugo, and the same thing happened to his Yugo when an acorn fell on it. Um, not
Hey, Paul,
not a sturdy car, no.
curiously enough, do you know how
Yeah.
many miles he had in that Geo Metro?
No, it didn't give it. I would have liked to know that, John.
Yeah.
However, I did
Yeah.
find this part out that it was total. The insurance company said it was total, but luckily he bought the extended warranty on the pumpkin, so he at least got his money back for the
Ah,
for the pumpkin. There
Oh
was a
boy.
huge crowd of spectators. I don't know if you can see them, but there was in the background.
Oh,
I
I
think
can see the
another
spectators.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
huge crowd of spectators. There was also behind the stands there was a big long line of people with those Tesla Cybertrucks, hoping that there was another pumpkin that they could drop on those too. I
Uh,
think the spectators would have paid to see that. So,
yeah,
and
sure.
on that note, on that Halloween note, I am going to sign off for the what in the world portion of what in the world, the real news, sometimes strange, always funny, and move on to real sports, sometimes strange, always funny, from my good buddy John Donalo, host of What in the World of Sports. So regular listeners know that John and I, and if you've been paying attention on this particular show, John and I met in college. We've known each other since freshman year. We're fraternity brothers. John knows more about sports than anybody I know, so I always turn to him when I'm trying to come up with a real sport, sometimes strange, always funny. And listeners know every week John manages to come up with one that tops the previous one. And this week will top last week, whatever that one was. So, John, take it away with your sport for this week.
Oh, I will, Paul. Thank you again for the big introduction. Appreciate that. So, interestingly enough, our sport this week is one that many people may be very familiar with. As a matter of fact, thousands of junior high and high school students in the United States have played this game for decades. The sport is paper football. Let me explain. Paper football is also called fingering football, flick football, tabletop football, thump football, or freaky football. It is a tabletop game loosely based on American football, in which a sheet of paper is folded into a triangle and is then slid back and forth across the tabletop by two opponents. The game is widely practiced for entertainment, mostly by students in primary, middle school, junior high, and high school age in the United States. Though its origin is in dispute, it was widely played at churches in Madison, Wisconsin in the early 1970s. As a matter of fact, the youth group at Grace Baptist Church in Madison, Wisconsin held weekly events and competitions, including monthly championships. Now, as for gameplay, the game uses a piece of paper folded into a triangle called the ball. The starting player begins by kicking off the ball. To perform a kickoff, The ball is placed on the table, suspended by one of the player's hands, with the index finger on the upper tip of the ball. Then the player flicks the ball with the other hand, thumbs, and index finger. If the ball ends up flying off the table or is hanging on the edge of the table, the kickoff has to be redone. But if the ball lands on the table without reaching the edge of the receiving player's side, players take turns pushing it with a steady, fast motion towards the opponent's side. The player scores points by getting the ball hanging on the edge of the opponent's side, and that is called a touchdown. Now, every time a touchdown is scored, the player who scored has a chance to make a field goal, which has that player flick the ball, as in the kickoff, through the opponent's goalpost, formed by placing two wrists parallel to the table on the edge, with the tips of both thumbs touching down each other and both index fingers pointing straight upward, as we have in that photo. Now, if the field goal is successful, the kicking player scores 1 point. The player who conceded points then starts the next kickoff. The game ends based on an agreed upon rule, be it a time limit or a score limit. Or in the case of most games I was involved with, when lunch period is over. So what a great fun sport that kids played, and are continuing to play, as a matter of fact. And I think it might be time to bring back paper football and make it professional. Look at it this way: Cleveland is ready for a franchise as long as we can keep Myles Garrett here.
Oh yeah, boy, no kidding. I'm not sure. He could probably kick a paper football through a wall.
Yeah, I would think so, Paul. Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Wow.
Well, that was far more information than I ever thought I needed to know about paper football. Interesting.
No, it is interesting, and we're showing our age here in a way, but everyone played that.
Exactly.
Everyone played that.
Well, all the guys played it.
Yeah.
And speaking for myself, I went to an all boys school, so that was a common occurrence every day during lunch, as John mentioned, during lunch. And I forgot how to fold it, so that photo right there is convenient if anybody wants to fold their piece of paper.
Absolutely.
Play some football again. I forgot about the punt. That was you had a special way to hold it if you punted. I don't remember all those rules, John, but I do remember once lunch was over, the game was ended, no matter who was
yeah, right, exactly. Who was winning or whatever, right?
So I thought that after high school, that was the last time I played paper football. But then I got to thinking, John, back when we were in college, I seem to remember one of the other fraternities challenging us to a game of paper football. Not the intramural football like we used to play, flag football, but real paper football. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do, as a matter of fact. And
You do?
I'm hoping you have some information to kind of back that up.
Well, as a matter of fact, I went digging through the old college newspapers and I found some photos to go with it as well. So if you remember correctly, we were challenged by this other fraternity, and the old guys in the fraternity picked John and myself, the two dumb guys, the new guys, to make a good football that we can win with. So John and I, we went nuts, and we decided we were going to make a special football that we knew we could win with. So here's a picture of that football here. So this one is it's about 3 feet tall, I think. I don't know where we got paper to make that. Yeah, a very large football over there on Wasmer Field, if you remember, John.
Yes, I do remember, Paul. Yes.
Yes. So we worked hard on that, and we unfortunately, what happened was something that was the major injury that occurred when you played paper football, and that is the football in the eye. So Here's a picture of John after he got a football in the eye. Now, John had long hair back then.
Yes, I did.
And
That's when I did
also
have a long hair, right?
he must have
Exactly.
this must have been around Halloween because John was wearing his pirate costume. Uh, I don't, I think you recover. I remember you recovering pretty fast from that football in the eye injury. I, on the other hand, looked pretty bad after
My
mine.
God.
Uh,
Oh,
Yeah, what happened to you, Paul?
I don't want. It took me a while to recover from that football in the eye. I took up smoking cigars. I think I found that one in the gutter. Uh, so
wow.
anyway, I hope that's the last picture I have. Yeah, it is. All right. Well,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
takes us to the end of What in the World of Sports. Thanks, John, for that great update for us on paper football.
You're welcome, Paul, Karen, and audience.
The regular listeners know once we're finished with What in the World of Sports, it's time for Bluff, the co-host everybody's favorite weird news game. In fact, I guess I can take our logo down there and get there we go.
Yeah, there
Uh,
you go.
so, boy, Bluff the co-host is a real simple game. I have three stories similar to the ones we've been talking about all afternoon. One big difference: those stories were real. These stories may be real, may be a bluff, and it's up to you, listeners, Karen and John, to decide real or bluff. Wagering is allowed, so place your bets. John and Karen, hands on the buzzer. Let's get right to story number one. One of the most unusual bars in the world is the Naughty Flamingo Bar in London. It got that name one night when two patrons bet which one could stand the longest on one leg like a flamingo, with the loser buying around. The winner won by tricking the other patron into thinking his wife had just walked into the bar, and Naughty Flamingo became the name of the game and eventually the name of the pub. These days, everyone at the bar stands on one leg, and there's plenty of falling down. So the Naughty Flamingo nickname is now also bestowed on the one-legged person who falls and spills his beer on someone else. Check out the Naughty Flamingo pub the next time you're in London, England. Okay, so a bar in England called the Naughty Flamingo because everybody has to stand on one leg while they're drinking their beer. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm not a beer drinker, but I would hope it's a bluff because I think there'd be a lot of people falling down.
More
That's
than
great
usual.
logic. Great logic there, Karen, for sure. Oh yeah.
Okay, Karen says the Naughty Flamingo is definitely a bluff. John, how about you?
No, I'm gonna disagree with Karen. I'm gonna say that it's a real thing, and in the category of nothing surprises me anymore about what people do, especially in bars. So I'm gonna say that it's a real story.
All right, so John says that the Naughty Flamingo is a real pub. Karen says it's a bluff. John, how long do you think you could stand on one leg while drinking a
Oh,
beer?
I don't even want to even hazard a guess on that, Paul. I just that's a stunt I won't even try. At least not at this stage.
I'm sure everybody at the bar appreciates that. Okay, let's check with the judges, and the judges say congratulations go to Karen. That is a bluff. There's
Oh, very good,
no
Karen.
such place
Okay.
as the Naughty Flamingo pub. Although somebody's going to take that name and
Yeah,
open one.
And run with it, right? Yeah.
There you
yeah.
go. Okay, so scores 1-0. Let's get right to story number two. Some names are hard to remember because they're so unusual. But a man in Australia is probably the only person in the world who can't remember his own name because it's too long. He goes only by his first name, which is Lawrence. But his actual full name is Lawrence, his last name, and 2,251 unique middle names. Besides regular names, some of his names are Old English, some are Latin, some are biblical, but all are real names and cover the entire alphabet. He has tried to memorize them, but just reading them off a paper takes 20 minutes, which he found out when he got married. He changed he changed his name in 1990 just to be funny, but now it's a pain, especially when he has to sign a contract or get a new driver's license. Okay, so a man in Australia has the most unusual name. It's 2,253 names long. So long he can't even remember all of his names. Real or bluff? John, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm going to pray this is a bluff, because how could a person go through life and have all those names and then try to remember them? I mean, this poor man, how can he do that? It's in fact, I think it's an impossibility. I'm going to say it's
Impossible.
impossible.
Okay, impossible. John said it's impossible. Karen, how about you?
I'm going to agree with my buddy John. Impossible.
Impossible. Okay, both of you say it's impossible for somebody to have that many names, probably because they couldn't fit them all on one little business card. Let's, unless it's really tiny print. So let's check with the judges, and the judges say, we're sorry. That's a real story. And he
How can
really
it?
did. Yeah, he really did write all the names down and have them read during his wedding vows.
Wow.
But he does
Why would
not
somebody
remember.
have, why would somebody have all those names?
As a joke. He did it as a joke. It's true.
Oh.
So, but now it's a pain in the neck, and he would have to go through the whole process again to get his old name back. So he
Wow.
just by Lawrence. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Both of you were wrong there. That means Karen is still ahead 1-0. But everybody knows punch or double in round number 3. So John could come roaring back if he gets this one right. Let's see. We've seen pumpkin catapults and giant pumpkin boats, but a ski resort in Colorado tried to invent a new sport this year, pumpkin ski jumping. Before you ask, the original idea was to use hollowed out giant pumpkins and have a person ride inside of it down a ski jump. That was quickly canceled by management. So instead, the contestants hollow out a medium-sized pumpkin, then make holes for their head, arms, and legs, and wear the pumpkin like a bodysuit. Then they strap on skis and ride in their pumpkin suit down the ski jump, take off on the end, and hopefully land intact. The resort only managed to get 5 crazy contestants to try the pumpkin ski jump this year, and only 2 of them landed and skied to a stop without busting their pumpkins or their heads. Nonetheless, the event drew enough local interest that they plan to try the pumpkin ski jump again next year. Okay, a resort in Colorado has people dress in giant pumpkins and go down the ski jump, getting a prize if they win and don't bust their pumpkin. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll go back to you.
I can see this as being real, and it's entertainment and excitement. So real.
Real. Okay. Have you ever gone off a ski jump?
No, I don't like heights.
No. Okay. I don't. Yeah. Well, the heights don't bother me. It's the ground that bothers me.
Yeah.
Okay. So Karen says that's a real story. John, how about you?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's real too. I agree with Karen, because I can see people doing something like this. It's not so far-fetched. I think it's real.
Okay. All right. So both Karen and John say that's a real story. Check with the judges, and the judges say, boy, you've been bluffed once again.
Wow.
That is a bluff. Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? You know,
Yeah, it sounds like good entertainment, like Karen said.
I think
Wow.
so. Yeah, maybe. Are there any ski jumps in? I don't think there's any ski jumps. Might be good to go down a toboggan trail. One of those toboggan runs in Cleveland Metro Parks in a pumpkin. We'll work on that for next year. So if we check with the judges, and the judges say that Karen's the winner, 1-0. John, back to the flashcards for you.
Congratulations, Karen. A very, very, very good victory. And yes, back to the flashcards for me and Annette this week.
All
That's
right.
true.
And congratulations to anybody out there who got all of those right. Those were tough questions, tough stories this week. Okay, I want to thank Karen Hale, our co-host, producer, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net. Thank you, Karen, for everything you do for our show, for all the great shows on newclevelandradio.net. Also, thank you to CassandraKubinski. Please, everybody, check her out on YouTube. Please check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow Karen on Facebook and get all the information on the shows. I test news stories out on Facebook, so a lot of our regular listeners will get a head start on what we'll be talking about. I also want to thank my old buddy John Dinalo. co-host and host of What in the World of Sport. Thanks for everything you do for the show, John, and for putting up with me every week. Don't know what else to say. I hope the Cavaliers win and the Buckeyes, and who else are we rooting for? The Wolverines. Oh, I said it, didn't I?
Well, yeah, right. Well, Karen and I are rooting for the Wolverines, and everyone else is rooting for Ohio State. But yeah, well, let's hope the Cavs keep playing well.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
And of
thanks, Paul.
course, as
Thank you.
always, we want to thank our listeners out there. Without you, we wouldn't do the show. You're the reason why we do it. We hope you have as much fun listening or watching as we do putting the show together and producing it every week. That it's just a lot of fun. And on that note, I think we will get out of here. I have leaves to collect, and I don't know what else you guys have to do, but go ahead and do it. Have a great day. We'll see you next week, regular time, regular date.
Bye,
See everyone
everybody.
next week. Take care,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye bye.